Well, are you prepared for a lights out situation? I guarantee you most people out there are not. It's something that you really have to keep up with all the time and make sure that you've got all the things that you're going to need. But in a true lights out situation, it's going to get loud here for a second, but this here right there is what is keeping the house and everything else at the moment going. You can see this runs in through a port that has 3 connections, and these are some of the tips that I want to give you guys out there to go and check into in terms of a lights out situation. As you can see here, I've got 4 ports that come off this. It's a 5500 watt generator. What I'm doing is I'm running off this panel the refrigerator, a heater, and really the stuff that sucks out the most energy. Now I've got another one running to the Goal Zero. This is my solar powered generator. Now there's not a lot of sunlight out there, but as of right now, if you can read that, we've got a try to grab some of the emergency lighting, and as you can see, I've got the lights that I use out in the field are coming in handy right now. But as you can see here on the generator, I'm pulling out 53 and I have an input of 67. Now that is allowing me to be able to keep power to all the other stuff that I've got going in here and keep it recharged ever so slightly. Now if you hook up other stuff to this, like a TV, this will jump up to about 110, 120 on the output. So what I figured out here, unexpectedly being without power for multiple days, and now we're going on the 2nd night and we may not have power till tomorrow. Got that heater there hooked up to the main line, and then I've got this hooked up to the gas power generator. So I'm getting power going in, and then coming out, I've got a line running to my computer, and then I have a line running over here to the router and stuff like that. Now what's interesting is, as long as I was able to get power to the router, I was able to get a signal out, which is key, because the power was down, the phones didn't work, anything, but I got this generator up and running and was able to get the phones and the router and everything back up and going. Now this is key, because if you're ever in a situation, an emergency situation, where you do have a battery around or something that you can tap into, and you need to get a signal out, that you need to get some kind of transmission out, your router will fire up if you can get power to it, and you'll be able to get some kind of emergency call out or access to somebody via email, messaging. If you're, say, surrounded by flood water, it's been storming real bad, you haven't had power for days, and that's your only shot at communication, it's something to think about. I just wanted to share some tips. Now, it's times like these where you find the holes in your game. And, you know, right now, today, I have a gas power generator out there that I had to break down and go put on the credit card and get that and some cables and plenty of gas to keep the thing going. They say the generator, gas power generator, may go 10 to 12 hours on a full tank. So get ready to refill that here in a little bit, and if that doesn't last about tonight and it dies, runs out of gas, well, then we're out of power. But the way that I've got this ran, if you have a Goal Zero, this will charge with solar panels out in the sun, but since it's going to be night and it's been hit or miss with the sun, I've been relaying all the power into this. So if by chance the gas power dies overnight or runs out of gas, this will have enough charge on it to keep the essentials still powered, like the fridge. And I will say this, if you try to run this little heater off of the Goal Zero, by itself, it will suck down some power. I noticed the electronics, I could put a lot of tablets, phones, even the computer and the modem all hooked up to this, and you can see it's only pulling 54 and it's taking in 68. So I still am taking in more than I'm using, so it's allowing it to charge. And it always helps to have some rechargeable batteries. Like in terms of this light system, these are running off of batteries. But what I can do is take the backups and have them charged, so when these start to die out, I can exchange them. That way, I've got constant lighting. So the main thing here is, you know, if you run out of gas, you're just down strictly to the solar. And you really have to have a good array set up and facing the sun with some good sunlight to really power this thing up. Plenty of panels. But in an emergency situation, this is great because it serves as a relay and also a backup once the gas goes out, and you'll still be able to have power for some time. Now, here's something else to think about. When going through the house, some of the first things I was thinking about was, all right, what are the essentials? All right, we got, I've got small burners that I hook up as well. It pulls some juice like the heater, but you're going to have to utilize these things and use them only when needed. And another thing to think about here in terms of all the things that you normally want to have. Now the TV, if I was to have this TV plugged into this system, like I said, this would that would go up to about 110. But what I would do is I would just tie the TV and everything else into the gas generator and pull directly off of that. Anything that's pulling higher wattage, I'm running straight off the gas. All the smaller things, I'll hook up through here. But as a side note, when you're going through your house and you're trying to figure out, you know, the essentials, obviously a fridge, freezer, you're going to need something to cook your food. Another thing to think about, though, is the water pump. Unfortunately, when I came across mine, it is rigged up pretty good, and the way they have it, I can't just plug it in and tap into it, so that's something we're going to have to get fixed, because in the meantime, we don't have any hot water. We're going to have to boil water 2 burners at a time, which by the time you get done boiling the other 2, the first 2 are pretty cold. So things to think about. Make sure that you have a connection that you can tap into your water heater with the plug and get some power to it. That way you do have hot water. Okay, so I just wanted to put this together. So just a few things there to think of, guys, in terms of survival tactics. Like I always say, you want to make sure that you have a plan, and you don't want to be stuck in a position where you don't have the things that you need. You know, it's times like right now, when you get put in the dark unexpectedly, that you get a real chance to see the holes in your game. And I can't stress it enough, I guarantee you, folks have holes in their game. And, you know, as I said before, check out all your wiring, the water pumps, make sure, you know, your water heater pump, things like that. Make sure that you can tap into those things, and that you're going to be able to have power to all the things that you need, refrigerator, all that stuff. So this has just been some tips from my point of view and my experience here in this lights out situation, and it looks like it's going to continue for some time here until they get the lights back on. But much love to everyone out there. Like I always say, have a plan, and I hope you have a plan for when the lights do go out. It's been Dabu7. Much love, you.